Good morning, grade 9. How are you doing today? Hope you are fine. We're going to start a new lesson today, chapter 5, lesson 8, solving radical equations and inequalities. Okay, a radical equation contains a variable within a radical. Recall that you can solve quadratic equations by taking the square root of both sides. Similarly, radical equations can be solved by raising both sides to a power. Here you have steps you have to follow in order to solve radical equations. So step number 1, isolate the radical. Step number 2, raise both sides of the equation to the power equal to the index of the radical. Raise both sides of the equation to the power equal to the index of the radical. So I'm going to raise both sides to the power which is equal to the index of the radical. Then number 3, simplify and solve. Okay, girls, as you see here, isolate the radical, which means keep the radical alone in one side. Isolate the radical, keep it alone in one side. Number 2, raise both sides of the equation to the power equal to the index of the radical. 3, simplify. Let's solve here an example. Example 1, solve equations containing one radical. Solve each equation. Okay, solve means I want to get the value of x. 2 multiplied by square root of x plus 1 equals 214. So, step 1, isolate the radical. So, I want to get rid of this 2. So, it is multiplied by the radical, so I will divide both sides by 2. Divide by 2. So, 14 over 2 is equal to 7, and the 2 will cancel the 2 here. So, I will get now square root of x plus 1 equals to 7. Now, square both sides by the power, which is the index of the radical. Square root, so the index is 2, so the power will be 2. So now, I have 7 to the power 2 and square root of x plus 1 to the power 2. So this power 2 will cancel square root. So it will be x plus 1 is equal to 41. I will get rid of this one by subtracting 1 from both sides. So x is equal to 41. I want to check my answer. I will substitute x by 48. So 48 plus 1 is equal to 49. Square root of 49 is 7. 2 plus 7 is equal to 40. Yes, correct. B. 5 multiplied by cubic root of 4x plus 3 is equal to 15. Isolate the radical. So I have here 5 multiplied by the radical. So I'm going to divide 5 by both sides. Divide by 5. I will cancel 5 by 5 here. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So now I'm going to do step number 2, which is raise both sides by the power of the index of the radical. The index here is 3, so I'm going to raise both sides by power of 3. So here I have cubic root of 4x plus 3 to the power of 3. So power of 3 will cancel cubic root. So I will get here in this side 4x plus 3. And in the other side, I have 3 to the power of 3, which is 27. Then I will subtract negative 3 from the two sides. Then I will get 4x is equal to 24. So I will divide 4 from the two sides. I will get x is equal to 6. And checking your answer is so important, because when you check your answer, if you get the correct answer, so the value that you get for x is correct. But if you check your answer and you didn't get 15, for example, here, so the value that you get for x is wrong. So x here is 6, so you're going to substitute here x for 6. 4 multiplied by 6 is 24. 24 plus 3 is 27. Cubic root of 27 is 3. 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. Correct. Correct here, 15. Okay. Let's solve the other one together here. Okay. I have here 4 plus square root of x plus 1, x minus 1 equals to 5. So what is the first step? Isolate the radical. So I will subtract negative 4 from the two sides. I will try to write it, or I will try to I have here 4 plus square root of x minus 1 is equal to 5. So minus 4 minus 4 cross each other. So it's equal to 1 here. So, and here is equal to x minus 1. Since it is square root, so I'm going to raise both sides to the power of 2. Okay, so it will be x minus 1 because the power of 2 will cancel the square root. So it will be x minus 1 is equal to 1. So I will add 1 here and add 1 here. Will cross each other. So x is equal to 2. Sorry for the bad handwriting because writing the whiteboard in the laptop is not that easy. So x is equal to 2. Let's go back to the book. So the answer is x is equal to 2. I want to check my answer. Maybe my answer is not correct. So I am going to substitute x by 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. So my answer is correct. Let's do here 1b. Okay. Okay. 3 x minus 4. I'm going to put the radical now. Is equal to 2. Okay, cubic root of 3x minus 4 is equal to 2. So I'm going to raise both sides to the power of the index of the radical. So I'm going to write here 3x minus 4 to the power of 3 is equal to 2 to the power of 3. Okay, so here so this one is going to be 3x minus 4 is equal to 8. I raised both sides to the power of the index, which is 3. So the power of 3 cancel the cubic root, and a to the power 3 is equal to 8. So now I'm going to plus 4 here and plus 4 here. So it's equal to 3. X is equal to 12. So x is equal to 12 over 3. So x is equal to 4. Girls, so let's go back to our books. So I'm going to write here the answer, which is x is equal to 4. Let me check my answer. Maybe my answer is wrong. So 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. Cubic root of 8 is 2. Yes, my answer is correct. Okay, let's do 1c. X plus 10 is equal to 48. Okay, I can answer it here. So I'm going to raise both sides to power of the index, which is 2. So it will be here x plus 10 is equal to square root of 42. I have 6 here, girls. I didn't see it. Let me solve it first in the whiteboard. It will be easy. It is 6 multiplied by square root of x plus 10 is equal to 42. Let me draw the radical here. Something wrong went with the whiteboard. I'm sorry for delay. Okay, so I want to isolate the radical, so I will divide here by 6 and divide here by 6. So 6 will cancel here, so it will be square root of x plus 10. 42 divided by 6 is 7. So I will raise both sides by the index, which is 2. So it will be here x plus 10 is equal to 49. So x is equal to 30. Okay, so I'm going to write my answer here. X is equal to 39. And I want to check my answer. If I'm going to substitute x by 39, 39 plus 10 is 49. Square root of 49 is 7. 7 multiplied by 6 is 42. So my answer is correct. Okay, girls, let's go to the second page. Okay, solving equations containing two radicals. Before we solved only one radical in one side. What if I have here two radicals? If I have here two radicals, I'm going to square both sides. I'm going to square both sides. I'm going to raise both sides to the power of 0. That's mean I'm going to square both sides. Okay, like here I have square root of 35x is equal to 5 multiplied by square root of x plus 5. I'm going to take the whole term and square it. So I'm going to take square root of 35x and square it is equal to the whole term 5 multiplied by square root of x plus 2 and square it. So the square root will cancel the power of 2. So it will be 35x is equal to the 2 power of 2 will be distributed upon 5 and the square root. So 5 to the power of 2 will be 25 and square root will cancel the power, so it will be x plus 2. And then I'm going to distribute again 25 upon x and upon 2. So it will be 25x plus 50. So I'm going to collect all the x's in a side and the numbers in another side. So subtract 25 from two sides. So it will be 10x here is equal to 50. Divide both sides by 10. So x is equal to 5. And please, girls, don't forget to check your answer after you finish, because maybe you got a wrong value for x. This value will make all the equation wrong. So you have to check your answer. Okay, girls, let's watch an example here together, video here together.
What if we have an equation where we have more than one square root? Curious. Well, here's the interesting equation. Square root 15x equals 3 times square root of the quantity x plus 4. What to do? Well, notice that since I've got one square root on one side and one square root on the other side, if I just square both sides, both square roots will evaporate. So let's do it. Let's do it! Let's get out there and square, except I should write a 15. That's a 15. I don't even like that. Let me take my math out. I've got special math out just because I want you to be able to see this. You know, I'm writing this just for you. If you're not going to see it, then what's the point? There we go. Thank you. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, since these are square roots, I'm going to square both sides. By the way, you know what might be sort of an interesting mistake? Would be to take the cube root, because maybe someone would see that as being sort of inside there. Remember, that's a coefficient. It's got to be a little teeny 3 that's wedged into that v to make it a cube root. That's really 3 times the square root. So we square both sides, and what's going to happen? Well, we're going to have just 15x here. Now, a great mistake would be to say 3 times the quantity x plus 4. But you've got to square the 3. There's no square root there, so we actually really have to square the 3 and report 9. Now I'm going to make another mistake. See if you can find this mistake. Now I take the square root of the square of the square root, and I get just x plus 4. What's the mistake? What's the mistake? Say it out loud. Say it out loud. I want to hear you say that the 9 has to multiply everything, not just the x. I want to hear you say, put parentheses around that. Thank you. All right, so what do I have? I have 15x equals, if I distribute, I see 9x plus 36. I can subtract 9x from both sides. And when I do that, what do I have here? 15x minus 9x is 6x equals 36. And so if I divide both sides by 6, I see x equals 6. Am I done? Absolutely not. I've squared. I've got to check my answer. So check. On this side, I have the square root of 15 times 6. Well, what is that? Well, there's a lot of ways of thinking about this. Let me just show you one way, which is just to factor everything. So if I factor this, I see this is the square root of 3 times 5 times 2 times 3. So I can write this as, well, 3 times 3 is 3 squared. So I have 3 squared times, and then this is 10. So I take the square root of 3 squared is just 3. So I see 3 square root of 10. So that's this side. It's a lot of work. Let's see what happens on this side. When I put in a 6, look what happens. I see 3 times the square root of 6 plus 4. That's 3 square root of 10. So it checks. So we see this checks. It says, okay, we're doing all right. We can square both sides here. We get an answer, and the answer actually checks into the original equation. If you have 2 square roots, one on each side, just square both sides, and you're good to go.
Okay, girls, let's go back to our book and solve the two questions here. Solve each question. So I want to get the value of x. So I have the radicals, 2 radicals in both sides. So what I have to do now, so I have to square both sides. Why I will square? Because the radical here is square root. Okay, focus on this part. I will square it because the index here is 2. So I will raise it to the power of 2. And here also, they wrote here square both sides because here the index is 2. So here I'm going to do the same. Let me open here the whiteboard. I hope this time I can write it fast and clear. Okay, it is 8x plus 6 is equal to 3. Okay, and I'm going to draw now the radical sign. Square root of 8x plus 6 is equal to 3 multiplied by square root of x. So I'm going to square both sides. Square them all. So what I will get here next, I will get 8x plus 6 is equal to, because the power of 2 cancelled the square root, is equal to, I'm going to distribute here the power of 2 to 3 and exponent 2, the power of 2, whatever. I'm going to distribute it to 3 and to square root of x. So when I distribute it to 3, it will be 9, and when I distribute it to square root of x, it will be x. And then it is 8x plus 6 is equal to 9x. Okay, then I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. So what will be left for me? 6 is equal to x. So x is equal to 6. Let's go back to the book here. So my answer here is equal to 6. X is equal to 6. Okay, and I have also to check my answer. Okay, 2b. I have here in 2b cubic root. Cubic root. Okay, girls, so when I have here a cubic root, shall I square both sides? Of course, no, I will not square both sides. I will raise both sides to the power of the index. Power of the index is 3, so I will raise both sides to 3. So let me write the answer here. Okay, I have here okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to raise both sides to the power of the index, which is 3. So what I will get here, I will get here in the other side, on one side I will get x plus 6. And in the other side, I will distribute exponent 3, the cubic root, power of 3, to 2, and to the cubic root of x minus 1. So when I distribute the power of 3 to 2, it will be 8. And to x minus 1, because it will cancel the cubic root. So it will be x plus 6 is equal to 8x, because I'm going to distribute the 8 to x and to negative 1, minus 8. Then I'm going to subtract x from both sides, so I will have 6 is equal to 7x minus 8. Then distribute positive 8 from both sides, so I will get 14 is equal to 7. 14 is equal to 7x. Divide both sides by 7. So 14 divided by 7 is 2. 7x divided by 7 is x. So x is equal to 2. Okay, girls, so let's go back to the book and write the answer. So x is equal to 2. And please, girls, I want to remind you, you have to check your answer. Don't forget to check your answer. Checking your answer is an important step. Okay, girls, we're done for today. See you tomorrow. We're going to continue tomorrow the second part of this lesson. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.